Here we go. 1, 2, 3, prova. Audio check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Audio check, audio check. Audio check, audio check. Please, from the chat, give me a sign that the audio is coming through. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Audio is superb. That's great. So today is well, first of all, welcome everybody. I just want to say today I try. It looks like my internet is able today to stream at 360. So yeah, this is going to be a nice experiment at 360. And in case you experience some buffering, yeah, there is nothing I can do about it. Just give me some feedback if it is buffering, and next time I will go back to 240 because basically I cannot change the quality of the stream while the stream is playing. So we will have to live with this decision for the rest of the stream. So yeah, 1.2 is out, and good. You know, it's Sunday, and it looks like, you know, no Assetto Corsa user has died in the last couple of days, which is, you know, is good. You know, I can keep my clean sheets as a programmer. I never killed anybody, so you know, I want to keep it that way. And surely I pissed a lot of people off with my software, but I didn't kill anybody yet. So yeah, the update was good, and the feedback was good, and of course, you know, you can never please everybody, so you get the odd people that didn't like the evolution in the force feedback, and or they think that, you know, there is more to do, and of course there is, you know, there is more to do, and you know, it's that's the plan. The plan is to keep going. So from tomorrow morning, the guys in Kunos Simulazioni, we will have a meeting, and we will decide what we want to do for the future. I know Marco would like to go back to a more frequent schedule with the update, so he would like to go into a situation where we update pretty much every month, and that is a good thing, because it allows it keeps the software more stable, because, you know, the feedback with the testers is more tight. The problem is more with the fact that if you just have 1 month to if you only have 1 month to develop your new things, it also means that, well, first of all, it's not really 1 month. If you consider testing and so on, it really becomes 2 weeks, and it also means that it's good if you have to do small things, but if you want to go for a big one, then 1 month is not really, you know, a time scale that allow to do very big changes. As usual, we did a very quick fix yesterday. As usual, you know, it's funny. You know, it's funny. We had 4 very tough weeks where, of course, we worked a lot to put the update out. And, you know, the funny thing is that yesterday on Saturday, you know, I just went online and the guys were all there. So we ended up doing one more update, a couple of fixes, and so on. Today I also did some experiment, and I ended up starting a small rewrite in both the differential drivetrain code and the clutch code, because it was pointed to me that the clutch was not really smooth in its behavior. So I did some experiments and I started to work on something. What happened was that because my for me the biggest fix for 1.2 really is the tire vibration. Many have noticed how that vibration, the fact that we don't have those tire vibrating, actually changed the behavior of the cars, and many people experienced cars there are a bit, they describe it as being a little bit loose, like, you know, the rear end is a bit slippery. I don't think that's the case. I think what is really happening is the fact that now our front end of the car is much more precise. So it's really following your orders much better. And so yes, it is probably easier to lose the backhand, but at the same time it's also easier to take it back once you lose it. So you get this driving on the edge feeling that I think it's definitely more realistic. It's definitely what you expect when you're driving those cars. And because this big change came from trying to get rid of an annoying vibration, so something completely unrelated from that. I sort of got obsessed now with vibration. Every time I get vibration, I go like, oh, you know, maybe this is hiding something else. Of course, you know, I can never get rid of all of that, especially when we're talking about really, really low speed, because that's the nature of the beast when you go to low speed on computers, and you are calculating in fixed steps, and so you get this situation where you never stop something in a physics simulation. What you really do, you just decide a speed where, you know, once you are below that speed, then, you know, it means you're stopped, and you can either stop it or just consider it as stopped. So what physics engine do, they sort of turn off collision, for example, for those objects that are below that level. So anyhow, just a very, very quick demo. This is already code. This is already code for basically what's going to be 1.3 version. Let's see. One of the cars that was signaled to me as being complicated is the F40, and so that's one that I'm trying here. So what I do, I put a manual clutch, which is something that I never use. So, you know, you will have to excuse me if as usual I will suck at this, but, you know, this is probably the most difficult car in Assetto Corsa, and excuse me. So these are, of course, you know, it's going to be very difficult to communicate what's going on here. Well, first of all, okay, so the car is off, if you remember from last time, so we need to turn it on, and then Luca, that is watching us, you know, he knows that we will have to work on the starter samples, and hopefully without breaking mods. So what we are trying to do here is to start this car as smoothly as possible. So I don't really want to go like this. If you put the first gear, it's better. So I don't want to really go like this. I want to go like, you know, really, really smooth, really, really slow. So just put the engine up and release the clutch very slowly and see if we can start the car very smoothly. And indeed we can. It's hard work. It feels it feels like a real car, like you really need to play a little bit with the gas and the clutch, and it's more difficult in a real car because you cannot feel when the car is moving. But I already think that this code is better than what we have in Assetto Corsa out at the moment. And something else I was doing is that if you release the clutch, now I'm releasing the clutch, the engine started to vibrate. It's still doing it when I accelerate again, but it's not that much. So you can see the car is really behaving very smoothly. Now I release the clutch again. It's not really doing too much of a this vibration. I don't like it. So basically, what this code is doing is, in general, the clutch is smoother, has got a smoother behavior, it's got a smoother attack point, which also means that at the moment, all the cars, if I turn on the automatic clutch, the cars are a bit slow because the pedal tend to come up too smoothly. Assuming the old behavior of the clutch, and now that the clutch is smoother, you can come up from the pedal in a more aggressive way, and you should come up in a more aggressive way. Also, the idea of new code is very, very simple. The idea is that I can run up to 10 drivetrain iterations for every physics engine iteration. So it means that the calculation is more precise. And because the time step became smaller, I also moved the entire code of the drivetrain to double to 64 bits floating points. So, and that allowed me to go really low with the refresh rate for this one. And so the idea is we might have another improvement from that point of view. Also, the code for the differential is a bit different, and I still have to write some tests that allow me to see where is the difference with the code that we have at the moment. My first initial impression is that the car tends to be more stable. It doesn't mean that it doesn't go sideways, as you can see here. If I want, the car goes sideways, but it seems to do it in a more predictable way, and I assume that could be due to the differential code. So that's only one Sunday morning of experimentation, and I already moved forward on the software, which is very typical. When I release the software, I get really excited. So because usually what is happening is that a software release comes usually after a couple of weeks of mostly bug fixing and very frustrating work. So as soon as released, you go like, yeah, okay, let's go break something now. Let's go do something new. So yeah, so that's where we're going now. In the chat before I started this stream, it was pointed to me that something that I was a bit afraid that some people miss the feature of having some damp from the driver of the steering wheel, And for some people, especially people that have direct drive steering wheel, it seems that makes the new version basically almost impossible to play because of the vibration. So they were asking, you know, the possibility to get the dump back. Basically, the story here is that previously in Assetto Corsa, you could choose to have a constant dump effect on the steering wheel that was not driven at all by the physics. It was just something that you tell to the driver, okay, just give me this amount of dump for the entire duration of the simulation. And now, because the damper is used to give you that very hard steering wheel at the beginning, it means that it goes to zero once the simulation is running and the car is not stopped anymore. And those people that rely on the damper in order to avoid the vibration on the steering wheel lost completely that possibility. As some of you might have discovered, we decided to introduce the new gyro effect that we added as an option, but it's not an option that we expose in the GUI, so it's just something that you will have to go and switch yourself. But it seems that for somebody that's not enough to stop the vibration, because of course gyro is only going to give you damp once you're going fast, and so it's not really helping you if that vibration is showing up low speed. So the story here is that we want to introduce again something that allow these people to still have the damper. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So we have this new section called FF Experimental, and that's where we're going to put for now this new feature. And the new feature is going to be something like damper mean level. Okay, so what's the story here? So basically I'm saying 0 is the situation as it is now. So when the car is stopped, I get 100% damper level. When the car is moving, I get 0. So that's the situation as it is now. So let's say, for example, that I want to have something like when the car is moving, instead of going to 0, it just goes to 0.5. So, you know, the word 50%. So I need to find where in the code I do this. Which, yep, is it here? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? SNFF. Okay, slow dump. Here it is. Okay, so it's basic, very very easy. So slow dump is gonna give is not anymore an absolute value, but is a is a linear interpolation between two values. So slow dump from the values that we use when the car is moving, and it's going to be this damper minimum value, which I will put it in the physics engine itself. So damper mean value, and slow dump itself, and then slow dump is going to work as a blend between these two. So in other words, when slow dump is 0, I'm going to get slow dump, and when slow dump is when slow dump is 1, I'm going to get the full damper, and when 1 here, okay, and when slow dump is 0, I'm going to get this minimum value. So this minimum value we create as a member of Physics Engine. I never like Visual Assist the way it does this. I prefer to do it myself. So float damper mean value. By default we put it as 0. So this should compile. And the only other thing that is left to do is just load the value from the experimental. So let's move this around. And then, so the damper mean value is just get the value from the yes. And that should be all there is to it. So now in theory, if this works, oh my god, I'm crossing the flows here with the cables. I should have a damper when the car is stopped. Yes, and I have it. And then it shouldn't go completely away, but it should sort of go, yeah, to 0.5. So I can still feel it. It's very, very heavy. Okay. Now let's just test that if I put it back to 0. It goes back to the behavior that we would expect. So for everybody on Steam, this is going to be 0. And if you want your dump back, you can put a value between 0 and 1 for your dump. So now it's gone. Now I can only feel the forces coming from the tires. There is no artificial damper anymore inside. So okay, so that's done. And now our friend in the chat, he will only have to be patient until this new version will go on Steam, which I have no idea if it's going to happen today or tomorrow. I need to see. I don't see a reason why this shouldn't go up later today. After I'm done with the Steam, with the stream. But if it doesn't go today, it's going to be tomorrow. It's not really a big deal. Okay, so up to the what I want to do today is my plan was not really to work on anything strictly related to the version that goes out, but just came on the chat, and I wanted to get this out. My idea is to write what I want to do. I want to write. You've noticed that when I want to change something, I don't use the launcher. I use this, and I go on the race.ini and I change stuff manually. And I want to have something better. I'm tired to do it, but I don't want to be also because my working routine is what I really want. I really want to just write a race.ini. I don't want to launch Assetto Corsa from wherever my stuff with the cars is, because I don't care about that exe. I wanna launch it from Visual Studio, so I want to try my latest exe, and I don't want to copy stuff around all the time. So what I really need is just a small application that writes a race.ini and allow me quickly to choose, okay, I want to try this car on this track and blah, blah, blah. I used to have something like this. It was called Assetto Corsa Shell years ago when I started to work on Assetto Corsa. Then we started to work on the launcher, but as you know, the things went into the direction that the launcher was not really something that I could use for work. So I need this thing. So let's call it again AC Shell, and it's going to be a C# form application. The reason is that I'm familiar with form. I don't care, I don't care how it looks at all. I just want it to work, and I want it to be super fast. So my idea is to have a user interface somehow similar to the one that was in the old iTunes, where you go you had like 2 or 3 big lists where you choose, I have my cars, I click here, and then save. Very simple, very fast, so I don't have to write the cars anymore. So what we're going to have, but since this could evolve into something else, I also want to put a tab control, so I can have different tabs. Oh my god, it's a long time I don't use C#. Okay, so this tab is probably going to take the entire size of the thing. Just like that. So let's say the first tab is going to be called for now something like race, something like that. Okay, so then it's going to have a list box that is going to be populated with all the cars, and we call it LST cars. Okay, so when the form is loaded, so when the form is loaded, we will have something called init cars, which is going to go and find all our cars. Eventually, I will have something to say where our folder with all the with Assetto Corsa lives. For now, let's hard code it here. So let's call it AC folder, which is where do I get my stuff? F. So what this is doing, how does it work? There was something cars, directory get directories, AC folder plus content cars. Okay, and then LST cars items is cars, and that should work probably. No, it's not, because this is add range. Add range looks like it's working. So when we load this, first thing we initialize the cars. Start. Okay, we're getting something, but we are getting the thing with the entire path, which we don't want. So let's do it by hand. In cars, let me make this bigger so perhaps you can read it better. So there was something in paths that was get file name, I think. C. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we got all our cars here. Nice. Good. Now we need to do the same thing with the trucks. Trucks is gonna be trickier because we have configurations. So the choice is here is either to list the track and the configuration together, or to have one list box with the track, and then if the track has a configuration, put another list box with that. But I don't like it. So I think what I'm going to do is to have one single list for the tracks, and just put the configuration in square brackets. So LSTT tracks. So in the most simple version, this is gonna look exactly like this one, and it tracks. This is called tracks. Just to make it clear, tracks, tracks, T, and tracks. And this is T. And then when we load, we fill the tracks. But we know it's not really going to work. Okay, because now we have these, but for example, Vallelunga, we only have one. It doesn't know that there is two Vallelunga configuration. So we need to get clever, more clever here. So if a track has a configuration, it will have a file that starts with model underscore. Right, so how we do this? So models, model files. So directory get files. There was something to filter. Okay, search pattern. Okay, so so the path is going to be this one that we have, and it's going to be models underscore something. Ini. Okay. Model file. So then what we do, if model files, what is it, count? No, it's length. So if we have more than, if we have some of these files, we need to solve it. Okay, so if we have model files, what we do, we model files in model files. Okay, and the name of this actually let's see that it works, and then we make it better. So it's going to be this one plus space square bracket. Then we need to extract this the name of the configuration, which is let's say config. Config is going to be the file name without extension of mf substring, and we start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that should work. Config plus another square bracket to close it, and that should be it. Yes. Yep. Lovely. Okay, but then I don't want to go and parse this. So what I'm going to do is add a concept of a track, which, if I remember, I don't know if C# still has, I remember it had problem if you started to add stuff on the top of this class. So we just create another one, call it track, and it's actually a struct. So it's going to have name, a configuration, and there's no reason to do this. Let's create a track with name and config. Okay. And then we need toString, and then so we return if config length. So if we have a config, we basically return the same idea that we do here. Being lazy, which is always a good sign for a programmer. If a programmer is lazy, it means he's able to come up with smart solution to save time. So return name plus config. While if you don't have config, just return name. Now, because C# is so awesome, we should be able to do new track like this. Same thing here. And you should just be able to straight away work out that it needs to call that toString, and indeed it works. Okay, so now the list is really holding this class of track. Okay, cool. So what time it is? Okay, we're still doing good with the time. So what we want now is a button that basically says, right, I'm done, just save me this ini file. Button. I'll make it bigger just because it's easier to see. Call it save. Button save. Save. Okay. Right, so once we want to save this one, we have two possibilities here. I can either write a complete race.ini like this one, but that means that until I finish this program, I cannot use it, or I can only go and change the things that I want to change, which probably for the time being is going to be a better option. So when I did the code for the AI tester, I used some class to that's not the right one, Stefano. What is it? Where 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 is the stupid AI test? AI auto tester. Come on. Okay. So there was something to do, yeah, ini file. So I like that. Don't want to write this one again. So we go to where I'm developing this one. Projects, AC shell, bank, ini file, add it to the project, and just change the namespace. Very brutal programming, you know. If you program C# for a living, don't judge me. I'm just trying to do this as quickly as possible. Okay, so that's good. I don't know what's complaining about here. Anyway, so we have this. The same click. Okay, so how does it work? Any new ini file, and what was it? Environment. And, oh my God, environment, and then how you get the document? Get folder path, special folder. Get folder path, Yeah, special folder. Yep. And documents. My documents. Cool. Okay. Plus assetto corsa cfg race.ini. Cool. And what we put in this one? So we do any right value section race car or model. How did I call this one? Model. Okay. So model, and it's LST cars selected item as string. As simple as that. And then the track race track LST tracks selected item. Let me grab this one. I'm gonna use it 2 times. Track as track. So track name, and then right value race config track config. Okay, is this something that I have to do with using? Is it disposable? No, because it's just calling Windows API functions, so it's all automatic. I think it's opening and closing the file for each operation, which is not great, but should be good enough for us. So let's try if this thing works. So let's say we want to drive the fantastic Alfa Romeo Giulietta at Newbury. Save. So I go here, bang, I have this. So then I can go to my Visual Studio and start. We can enjoy the square trees in Newbury. Oh my god, this looks terrible. But I still love it. I love this track. This gray stuff here, it's where the shadows used to be in Netcar. This corner. Oh, so many memories. People might not know that I designed this track. And I mean, I did it in 3D. For the Netcar free version. It was the first track that was in Netcar free version. I also did the Croft track. For the Netcar free version. But this one is totally my design. So, you know, a special. And of course, this is just straight conversion to have a laugh with Simone. Then when we went in Netcar Pro and Simone basically redid the entire track with textures and proper textures and different design. So I think in the Netcar version, this corner was not that fast, was a 90 degrees like this, the original one. So we left it. And then I think it was going straight there, which is now is closed. So we made this one longer. And again, the original one was not going fast here, was going again 90 degrees. And instead of cutting there faster, it was 90 degrees here. So the idea to make it this fast was to allow a difficult corner, so you could hope to actually pass somebody in this corner. Reality was that Newbury came out such a small track that it was almost always impossible to pass. Anyway, that's it. So yes, this small utility. My idea for this one, for me, is to have a couple of preset rays prepared. So I have another list box here that gives me like I can sort of create typical races. Like, let's say I want to race with all GT3 cars, or automatically a race with the same car that I want, and so it's generating me also the race. So all this without having to deal with the launcher. Okay, so that's it for today. We go to the chat for the question and answer, guys. Yeah, there was the new next Gen 3s confirmed. It's going to be in the new version of those fantastic trees. Back from 2000, well, Netcar Pro was 2006, which makes it 9 years ago. And the Netcar Namie was 2003, I think, just before I left to Japan. Is Yebis 3 already implemented? No. And no. It was a huge job to put Yebis 2, and well, I haven't looked into the version 3, so I don't know if they changed the API very much. Stefano, are there any plans to implement soft lock for force feedback? Well, it's going to be very quick, something very quick to do. So I'm going to try to do it probably next stream. If you know, let me write down something quick that I can do for the next stream, so I don't forget. So soft FF locks. And let's save it with a very descriptive name, like, you know, bullshit to do next stream. So soft lock is going to be something to try to do live. How can you become a tester? I don't know. You have to go on the forum and try to hassle Manuel Darin with as many private messages as you can. So at that point, you have two possibilities. Two things can happen. He will ban you forever, or he will answer you, because he's the one that is in charge for the beta testing. What's the next step in AI evolution? The first thing that I don't like at the moment is, if you notice, when they have a car besides them, they go as far as possible on the limit of the track, which is something that will make them slower. So what I want is I want them to give you enough space, but I don't want them to go all the way on the other side of the track to give you space. I want them to give you space, but make you work for it. Also because it means that if they don't give you all the track, it means they will be faster through the corner. So it's going to be more difficult to pass. So that's going to be one thing that definitely I'm going to try, and I want to try to make them faster on the first couple of laps when there is lots of action going on, and already by doing these changes where they don't go on the limit of the track, that will already make them faster at the first couple of laps. So that's the first thing that I'm thinking about for the AI. Here you go. There you go. Stop. As the question on night racing. Here we go. Night racing will not be in AC. Okay, so after watching you do the glowing brake disc, I thought about it. It can be possible to add fake like sources with texture. Yes, that's actually already possible. I mean, if you want to do a track like Singapore, for example, where you want to fake, when you want to fake a situation where you have points that actually are lights. The point is that you can make an object looks like it's got light, but is not going to send the light on the object around it. So you can create something like a lamp in a, let's say for example, something like an oval track and a night. So you have all this black sky and the thing. So I think you can do that. What the reason why we cannot do night racing is because we don't have headlight from the car illuminating the track in front of you. So that's the main reason. Can you make a feature that we can restrict what type of tires the AI can choose for a race? Yeah, so basically something similar to what we have in multiplayer. Yeah, it could be something very similar to what we have in multiplayer. So you basically restrict a tire, and everybody, so there is no soft tire on that, or if you want to race with street tires. Yeah, I think that's an interesting evolution, and considering that the code is already there for the multiplayer, so it's almost like you watched the empty box video. I did. I also retweeted it. But yeah, I've been driving enough races with AI to know exactly where the problem is. Stefano, are you aware of bad GPU crossfire utilization when multiple apps are on the screen that cause bad FPS when full grid GPU? Yes, but you need to understand that crossfire and SLI is not something that is exposed in DirectX 11. It's something that is completely managed by the drivers. So the NVIDIA and AMD drivers, they do all the magic. And the problem is that so that basically, quick answer, there's nothing I can do about it. All we can do is hustle NVIDIA and AMD to have a look at it, and and that's the amount of power we have. It depends on how many copies you guys buy. So the more copies you buy, the more whatever we ask to NVIDIA is gonna matter. Can you please add new information in shared memory? Clutch ride height, brake BS, lap invalidation. I will try to I will try to do this kind of things. Let's I tell you what, that's another bullshit to do in the stream. Add new stuff to shared memory, and because I know already you're gonna ask for it, add new stuff to Python. There you go. Can we have force onboard cam? No. And the reason is, it doesn't make sense, because if you see in the new version of Assetto Corsa, you can now open you can now put the driver eyes wherever you want in a car. So there will be absolutely no point to force onboard camera. And if somebody is beating you, it's not because they're using another camera. Stefano, can you explain better the change of timing menu? In my new ISO system, nothing has changed. I still have to use the cap to fill. Well, okay, yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. Because I'm stupid, I did the tweak in the game, but I didn't tell the guy in charge of the UI that, you know, we don't need that 1 millisecond limitation anymore. So basically, in the UI, you are still forced to choose those values. So what I suggest you to do, you go into Documents, Assetto Corsa, CFG, and you open your video. Let's see if I can show it to you. I don't know, I don't think you will see, but basically you need to get to your CFG video.ini, and then you will see something like this, right? And then somewhere there will be an FF cap somewhere. FF's cap, shit, still called milliseconds. I'm sorry, because I'm an idiot. I think I'm an idiot. Hold on. Because I don't use this feature, so I couldn't care less. Yes, it's loading as an integer. Well, I shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that. It definitely shouldn't do that. Well, we need to go around and change this one. At the moment, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do about it. Sadly. Yes. Basically, yes, now the timing is below 1 millisecond, but you're totally right. You know, I didn't change the FPS code, and there you go. Sorry about that. You know, I will see what I can do if this will show up as a tiny update, but it's not tiny because I need, you know, it's a big change. So we'll see. Do I miss Italian food in the Philippines? Yes, I miss Italian food. I'm lucky because my wife, we lived 6 years in Italy and she learned to cook Italian, so, you know, I can still have my pasta and things. But yeah, I miss a good pizza. Is it possible? No, shit, you're writing too fast. For the setup to always be from the same level. Now the right eye change depending on where you start in the pits. No, I think it doesn't. I think that was a problem with some old version of Assetto Corsa. Now the system is different, and the right eye is projected, is not really calculated in real time, which also adds more problems on things like Eve Springs, and it's something that we talk on a chat, I think, a couple of streams ago. So as far as I know, you know, it doesn't do it anymore. I think that if you are in a pit, there is a slightly, you know, slightly on a hill, it gives you a different result. This is something that I would really love to fix in the future. At the moment, we have a situation where the car has a sort of super damp mode when it goes below a certain speed, and it's needed in order to stop the car on a hill. Now, if one day I will be a little bit smarter than I am, I should be able to run Assetto Corsa like this, let me use my new fantastic program to say Toyota. I need something, I need to put something like a filter, like I write Toyo, boom, and it filters this list out just to show me Toyota. At Spa, save, while this is compiling. And I'll show you how nicely the car will start and how catastrophically will fail. Well, actually, you know, with this new drivetrain code that I wrote this morning, is much better. Yeah, okay, so you see, this is correct. I mean, this probably Simone can confirm on the chat in real time, but you know, this pit lane is not straight, so the car is going backward, which is fine. And if I brake, cool. Okay, so I brake, I put the first gear, I turn on my engine, and I start very, very, very smoothly. You see how cool it is? Basically, now we don't have the code. We don't have the code that makes the weird stop when the car goes below a certain speed. It's totally free, and it's on two-wheel drive cars is nice. Yeah, so for example, now if I go slightly uphill here and I stop, okay, so brake is okay. If I leave the brake, the car is going back, which is nice, which is what we expect. But if we go, of course you can imagine that this kind of thing start to create lots of problems. Like, for example, imagine every time you have to stay with your brake pressed, otherwise the car will move, unless you are totally flat. So imagine you have a race that is starting down here, okay, and so if you're not pressing the brake, you know, the car will roll, so you don't want that. And now we are downhill. If we go in F7, you will see that the car is actually slightly moving. So that means that although it looks like we are not moving, we are moving. F7, I just moved to a camera that is fixed, and you know, so the car is slightly moving, and it gets worse if we go up there on the very uphill. So we stop here. It looks like pretty much we are stopped. If I release the brake, I go down, as I expect. But F7, yeah, because the hill is even bigger, we are sliding. We're sliding even more. From outside, you know, it's very difficult to see that we're moving, but we are moving. Yeah, actually, you can see that we are moving. But look how natural if I release the brake. You know, very, very natural. And if I accelerate, whoops, I turned the engine off. And we're falling. Right, okay, so yeah, I hope one day I can fix this. It's unbelievable how complicated it is in simulators to do this, to get the car to stop. It's unbelievably complicated. You know, this is already much better than Netcar, but it's sliding a bit. Anyway, back to the chat for another couple of questions. Yeah, exactly. I deactivated this low speed, very low speed. I call it the sleep mode, and I'm enabling the sleep mode at 0.5, so it's incredibly low in Assetto Corsa. It's 0.5 meter per second. Very, very low. I enable the the sleep mode. Stelstrecke. I don't know what is Stelstrecke. Stefano, what do you think about finite element method applied to physics of sim racing games? It is a waste of code because a huge amount of input needed to implement it. No, I mean, provided you have, I mean, there are different way to apply that. You can apply it to tires, or you can apply to the car chassis and things like that. So provided you have the data, so provided you have all the data to feed into the model, it's great, you know, it's great, and it probably can be done in real time, probably not with 20 AI, but you know, it could be done. For me, the limitation is that I will never have the data. So trying to go and encode something that will require me to start, and me, Aris, whoever is going to work on this, the modders, and start requiring, you know, guessing 100 parameters. You know, there is absolutely no point to have a complicated system and then you have to guess parameters. It doesn't make sense for me. But if I had the parameters available, yeah, you know, it would be really nice. Stefano, would it be hard to code 4-wheel steering? I don't think it will be hard. But I never seen anything with the theory of how it works. Like, you know, it's not difficult in Assetto Corsa to get your rear tire to rotate exactly like the front tires do. So it's a matter of understanding then how it works on a real car. Does it have electronic actuators to do that thing, or does it move as a reaction to the steering wheel? If it is just a reaction to the steering wheel, I wouldn't imagine to be that difficult. So you just have a, but I don't think it's that easy. I think what they do is more complicated. So again, you go into the situation where, you know, you first need to have the data to understand what you need to implement. When I have some time, could I please check the touring car battle Alfa Romeo 155? Feels like a drift machine after the update. Yeah, yeah, I will. I didn't see my question. I see you, Remco. There you go. Might be a good idea to enable signing up multiple drivers in the same car. This makes driver swap possible. It's I think yeah. It is, but it's a bit more far in my ideas of what to do with the future Assetto Corsa. You know, so it is interesting. But honestly, I don't see it happening before the console version. It could be that after the console version, you know, we decide to push even more on the multiplayer. We'll see. Yeah, Pablo. Well, yeah. I need. It will be a matter of understanding. I imagine the actuators, as you can imagine, the actuators for the active steering at the rear, they have algorithms, and the problem is that, you know, if the code itself is not that difficult, the problem is to write the algorithm and put the parameters in that. Now that we risk to spend 1 month on this thing, and simply we cannot afford to stay 1 month on a car. That's the problem. So if we, well, 1 month, you can imagine how many years of research and development the real car. It's like the ABS, no? I tried in Netcar Pro to have a super realistic ABS system where basically I was like, you know, oh, I don't want to look at slip ratio to decide when the ABS should turn on. And it was a nightmare. It was really a nightmare to try to work out an algorithm. So same thing with the thing. I should see the algorithms and see if we can. Hai trovato un modo per migliorare lei senza usare il super grip. Hai trovato un modo, Tommaso Oliva. Ma Tommaso, ma sei Tommaso l'ingegnere di pista? How is the roof RT12 to drive? No idea. Did you see it in the list? You know, many cars you can see in the list are placeholders. So it's like just places where the graphic guy will put the graphics. And I don't think Aris. Well, I think what Aris does is just copy another car that is somehow similar. Then the graphic guy do the initial graphics, and then Aris goes and does the physics. So I don't think it drives anything like it should. Is enable gyro the same gyro feature that was eventually cut off? Yes, 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 and I recommend it for the G27. Honestly, it's it was you know, it's probably you if you follow the forum on Twitter and you follow this stream, you might have seen me a bit pissed about this thing. I was a bit disappointed because it's something that I really loved, but I really need to accept the fact that steering wheels are different. So what I feel in my G27 is probably very different from what people feel on a different steering wheel. So I think I have to slowly abandon my idea of having, you know, one force feedback that works on everything, because we're really getting into very subtle effects. Personally, I like it. I like the gyro effect. So on a G27, so I would say yes. Ok Tommaso, considera sempre che effettivamente non tutte le macchine hanno bisogno del multi-grips. I just received the latest hotfix on Steam, Stefano. Thanks, fixed my... No, you haven't. I didn't send it. In the new Nissan GTR, when auto gearbox is selected, very often blown the engine when downshifting. Okay, just make sure you signal this in the forum. These are the kind of bugs that are always very complicated, because I have to be honest with you, I don't think anybody here use auto gearbox, so those are very difficult for us to spot. I don't know if the problem the rev light in your rim. We don't drive the rev lights in the Fanatec, so never had. I see the AI blowing up. Yeah, yes, I got report of the AI blowing up the engine on GTR. So I think it's simply the shifting point is too high. So yeah, I can believe that. Okay, guys, last couple of questions. Let me see 1 second this GTR business. Is it the Nissan GTR or the Nissan GT3? No, Tommaso, a parte che essendo lo stream in inglese, non ha senso che ci mettiamo a parlare di teorie AI in italiano. Quindi sì, sicuramente meglio un PM nel forum. So we were saying, is it the GT3 or the GTR? Well, I need to change a couple of things. The new one, okay, so. Should be something pretty easy. Thank you, John. Thank you, John, complimenting about the AI. It's always difficult for me because I see the changes every day. So I saw a video, like, comparison between Assetto Corsa old AI with the 500 keeping behind lots of cars in a row, and the new one where the cars was all the cars were passing, and that was really funny. Okay, so let's see where the AI is changing gear with this car. Might be that it blows the engine on race starts, not driving normally. Shifting point for the eye are okay, so it could be that the shifting points for the automatic are wrong. Yeah, it could be this, the problem was higher. I will ask Manuel to test this one because if I enable automatic shifting, I die. Manuel is already testing. Manuel, you need to try with the automatic shifting. Anyway, guys, I think I will wrap up this one. And as usual, thank you. You know, it was really nice to get to 1.2 doing these streams. I will do another one on Wednesday, and then I want to take probably a couple of weeks pause between these streams. I will be still working on Assetto Corsa, so you can follow me on Twitter to see how things are going. So it's just the stream that is going to stop for a couple of weeks. So yeah, so we will have another one next Wednesday, and you know, it's going to be the last one. One question, okay, go with your one last question, Attorney Man. I'm waiting. There is a delay in the chat, so if it doesn't come in 20 seconds, I will close. So it's like 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Here is a question. Can you explain force fixed changes? It seems cars can't drive straight. Come on, that's not true. I already explained. I already explained what's my theory at the beginning of the stream. So you can just rewind the stream and see what my answers to that. And again, I want to reiterate: there is not a change in force feedback. It's a change in the tires physics. So there's no direct change in force feedback. Okay, guys, see you next time. See you on Wednesday morning for me. And thank you very much. Ciao, 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 ciao.